Hello and welcome back to Purple in Peril, a Warlock life. This is level 11. A couple of things to go through here. So enhancements wise, I mentioned in previous episodes I was going down this Enlightened Spirit area for the light and alignment spell power. So I've got an extra 30. Actually, it's an extra 42 with the universal, isn't it? Light spell power and 12 universal, so that's very nice. And I just took the always on shield because at the moment I still don't have the shield spell. I'm still making use of the false life. At level 11 we got an extra spell, displacement I took. So that lasts just over a minute now, which isn't too bad. Make sure again that you get the ingredients, hotbar them so you can see what you've got left and when you need to restock. And whenever you do, just a quick trip to the portable hole, and the general vendor in there will take care of all your needs. I was asked earlier in the week how the end build of the sort of tanky warlock compares to the paladin. And the answer is, I think most people would agree it doesn't. If you want a top tier tank, even a first or second life, the Paladin is really, really good. One of our little group has made such a build. I don't think it has more than 2 lives behind it. And even so, it's getting up towards 5,500 hit points, healing amp to die for, saving throws crazy high, everything basically better than my warlock at the end game, which you would expect. The reason I didn't want to go down the paladin route, first of all, we already have one. Secondly, I'm not mad keen on melee in general, so I wanted to do something a bit different. I was hoping that the end build of this might be reasonably viable in sort of mid-legendary Reaper, sort of 6-ish, to take some of the heat off our very squishy other characters. I've got an archer who dies in a sudden gust of wind, and we have several others similar to that. From what I saw in the sort of test life last time, it can do that. Pushing beyond 6, I'm less sure about. I suppose it would depend on the strength and what the other group members bring to the table. The purists would say you don't need a tank for 6 and below, and I suppose if you have a strong party with crowd control and AoE damage, then maybe not. But some of our little characters with only few lives behind them need some support, so I think he'll be okay for that. I just don't think he compares at all to the Paladin. In fact, I would argue that even with a ton of past lives behind him, Purple Warlock would not compare to a first or second life Paladin tank. But that being said, it depends on what you want out of it. I like the caster playstyle more. I like being able to throw the Tempest and the Tentacles in there. So, and then there's a displacement, of course, which is another line of defense. And lower down the sort of Reaper 4 to 6, he might actually need less maintaining than a regular tank might, in terms of healing, because a lot of the damage is chewed up in temporary hit points. The problem is when you go higher and the incoming damage clearly outstrips the temporary hit points, that's when you start having trouble, because you have less of a actual hit point buffer than a paladin or a barbarian tank might. Right, waffle over for that. I did just want to mention the end build for this acid warlock sort of goes on into the primal epic tree with acid and poison SLAs. And yes, you do run into acid immune opponents, not least of which the Abishai in the Devil's Chains. But there are also plenty of quests where they're not on the legendary side, so I prefer to focus on the positives. the main reason, to be honest, why I've persevered with this character, not because I think it's going to be super duper at the cap, but as mentioned in the first video, I did a lot of racial past lives on my main character as an acid warlock, and I just thought it might be nice to share some of the bits and pieces I picked up along the way, some of the tips and hints for gear that might be of interest, just that kind of thing, and maybe to revisit the class, because I haven't played a warlock in literally years, I guess. So it's been fun anyway, regardless. What else do we want for level 11? Greater restoration scrolls if you have the UMD to cast them. I don't at the moment. I'm struggling, as you can see there, with the standard restoration, but as mentioned before, I'm only putting one into UMD at the moment. The reason being, once I get to the cap, I'll be able to cast everything that I need just with that one, but it does mean that you're somewhat hamstrung scroll wise during the leveling process. So if you're just going to 20, by all means throw more into UMD and make your life easier for the healing scrolls and raise dead and all the rest of it. I think that's about it. So I wanted to make this one about the quest in Deneith, the Spies in the house, because this caused me no end of pain when I was trying to learn it. I was watching somebody's YouTube and I was literally having to stop, rewind, press play again, and it took me ages to figure out. Maybe I'm just slow, but I'm going to try and run through it as slowly as I can to try to illustrate the sections where I had so much trouble, and maybe what you can do to make your journey through there a bit easier. First thing to mention, if you bring a hireling into here, bear in mind this business with the electric floors, because they just seem drawn to electric floors, do hirelings. It's just not good times. Why am I casting shield when I have it permanently on at the moment? So massive drop down. Now the first thing I've been known to forget to do in here is pull this lever at the start, so I've had to go back. So don't forget to pull the lever, which opens the path onwards. There are traps in the tunnel beyond this, so be wary of that. On the ceiling there you can see the spikes and then the things coming up. Sonic traps above me, so just go in below those, and then another spike as we come out of the water here. Now there must be a zillion different ways to do this. I'm just going to show you the one I'm comfortable with. My way does require a reasonably high jump score, let's say in the mid-30s. Top up the false life. So as mentioned before, I'm using false life like a temporary hit point buffer in place of actual healing, because the Warlock doesn't have it. The only way you're going to get actual healing on the Warlock is through scrolls. So we're going to watch the two gaps in the pipe here, and we're going to pull this this wheel 2 times, and that directs the, can you see the over there, the sort of air jet thing? That directs which one blows, and it's going to send us up to the top if we are lucky. Now this is the way you need the jump for. So you just jump up and hit left and up onto this area, and from there onto this pipe. send yourself into the jet and up onto these boxes. We'll give some displacement here because we're going to be coming under heavy fire. I can hear a Reaper there as well, that's not good, hit the stanch. So, there's an air jet going to come out of here when we pull this valve, and it's going to send us across to the left in front of the next valve we need to pull, which is just on top of these boxes here. Now be careful of the gaps in the floor here. If you fall down off the side of there or down here, there's a gap, you're not going to get back up easily. So jump up, or if you don't have the jump, go around the side and go on the boxes there. There's a valve to pull here. And definitely rescue the prisoners. Most of them are on your way anyway. In fact, they're all kind of on the way. And it's a nice optional XP, especially when you do this in epics. Here there is a trap. Is there a trap in heroic, or is it just in epic? I can't remember. In epic it's quite nasty, and you need freedom of movement to get through it. No, I don't think there is in heroic, is there? Okay. So in epic there's a sort of a grease thing comes down this this section, and there's these gusts of wind blowing you down, and there's lightning as well. It's not good. If you don't have freedom of movement, you're in trouble there in epic. So there are 4 prisoners in all to rescue. There's a group of skeletons pops up here. You could just run on past them, but for the sake of not causing a dungeon alert, then we've got some mephits. There is an electric trap here that you can disable, but obviously I can't, so we continue. See there, it's hitting me. Thankfully we have some electric resistance. 20 electric resistance, so that's not terrible at this level. Okay. I think you do need to kill these 3 in the middle to be able to pull this lever, which opens the way on, I think. This one you don't need to actually release, you can just talk to them behind the bars. There's a chest in here. There's a sneaky guy here. And now we're into the electric floor section. Shrine there should you need it. It's use it or lose it. You can't get back up here, I don't think, or at least not easily.
The metal grates below spark with electricity. Touching them would be unpleasant.
I'm using invis not to be shot to pieces by the people up at the top, and even then one of them got me. I think we'll have some stanch up here. We're coming up to a boss. Let's have some displacement too. Oh, and a Reaper, that's not good. As soon as the boss is disposed of, I think, yeah, all this opens and this lot start pouring out from here. So just be wary of that. I think you can see now why I hit the temporary hit points for that section. Champion caster, not good. He took a big chunk out of the temporary barrier.
You hear a metal portcullis slide open in the distance.
We could maybe just go sneaky through here with invis. Or you could just pick off the archers, as I really should have done because I'm losing health now. I think one of them must be a crown to be able to see me while invisible. Let's get the invisible again. Displacement. Yeah, there's a crown over there. I bet it's him who's doing it. He takes a big chunk each time he hits me. Now, if you have more past lives than I do, you might have a better armor class, so you might have a better time of that kind of thing.
Kaylan deftly climbs her way out of the sewer, pausing once to look back and wave her thanks.
Right, so you pull the valve, and now this is the part that I found really difficult. So we're basically going to push forward W into this air jet. It's going to take us up level with the this section here, and there's going to be a kind of a stutter where the game seems to be not quite sure where it's going to send you. Just keep pushing the W forward and you should get onto that floor. Now it's obviously electrified, so you're going to need some form of healing, or in my case I'm going to stanch. It might not be the best solution for getting through this, but it's the one I know. So we're going to stanch first, false health, pushing forward. As soon as you go up in the air jet, push forward and it should take you up onto the... It took me ages to get that one right. That was the worst part of the whole quest for me when I was trying to learn easily. So if you can master that bit, you're well on the way. Careful of these jets of cold coming out of the pipes here. They can be very damaging. Pulled... Oh. Pull the 3 valves and that opens the way forward. And if you pull them in the order I have, the back one and then that one over there, then this one, you can see the cold has stopped now to go to this one. Had I gone to this one first, I would have had to be going over those cold jets, which on the higher difficulties are very painful. So we're going to have to go on the floor again, because we could get, if we try and go around not on the floor, I suppose you could try and time it, but I prefer to stay out of the way of those jet things. So I'm going to stanch again, give us that temporary barrier, as little time on the floor as possible, up the boxes, and now we're onto this jet. So we're going to just move forward into this, and you can see it's blowing backwards overhead. It's going to take us up onto this ledge here, onto the next section. So just let it take you back. There we go. And from here, another electric floor. So we're going to be quick because stanch only lasts a minute. Onto the boxes. Defend yourself against these guys. Just pick them off while still on the boxes. And from there, we can go onto here, up this ladder, and it's almost job done. So just this last little trial to go, really. It's a 50-50 here. I don't know if there's a way to ascertain which, but basically one of these valves is trapped and one of them closes this in front of you to allow you to proceed. I don't know which is which, so I'm just going to stand through, and we just got lucky there. It's random which one, it's not the same one each time. So you just have to be ready for the, if it is the trapped one, you get like some lightning thing going off. If you pull back, you can avoid some of it. Chest here, and the end is just round the corner if you have a master's voice, master's gift, whatever it is you want to put on. There we go.
Shows you've reached the end of your journey. You have found the far end of the
So as I mentioned, the hardest part I found with that, and the one that took the most getting used to, was when you go up in that first air jet onto the electric floor above. There's sort of a jitter. It basically, as soon as you get caught up in that jet, just push and hold the W to go forward, and it should take you onto the electric floor. And from there, it's a little bit easier. That's the hardest part done, at least for me. Right, I won't waffle on anymore. That was level 11. I hope you enjoyed, and I will speak to you soon. Take care.